All right, here we are on a Wednesday. All right, so as you know, yesterday that's gold. Let's put the hours up here as well. Now we're just hitting those hours where the market is beginning to change, as you can see. So we had that 230s up here, okay, but we said we'd get smashing at 545, which is there, right? As you can see, that's 545. As you can see, I'm up and running early today. So that's gold. Now remember yesterday, also with respect to gold, Monday was a swing day. So Monday, the highs, yesterday we talked about selling, okay, because Monday is the high, and Friday was also a swing day. So Friday, Monday, swing day, we came all the way down into the targets that we talked about. So I can get rid of this now. Okay, I just want to remind you once again that the price is 3,305 at the moment. And if I just make a calculation, I'm just going to keep you hanging there for a second. Okay, so we still have room to come down. 3,318, so 3,303, 3,304, which is around here. So this zone is good to sell off again, okay? And then if that is the case, also 3,327. Okay, if the market does go up, 3,327. The reason I say that is because if you do an impulse, okay, so if you've learnt from me, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, we can come up here and that's the bar. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this because that's yesterday's PST level, which was already done, so we don't need that there. All right, and that's your zone. So if the market does come up, I'm happy to sell. I'm happy to sell from here as well. That's a 50% on the pullback. Okay, so we still have a bit of time. Do we have a bit of time? Change is going to be attractive at 620, so we can actually say we want to keep that in that zone. And then what I want to see is 3,275. Where can we get to? This 3,300 is a bit, yeah, 3,307, 3,300. Okay, so this zone is okay to sell. Okay, where should it take us? 3,261. I'm just going to get rid of these. And I'm going to say here on the daily, I got 49, 3,268. Okay, so we should come into 3,268. And I'm just going to put 3,261 there as well. Okay. And possibly 3,242. So this zone is a target zone for us, right? All right. This zone and here. So impulse, pull up, sell back down at the trading hours. I'm happy to do so. You can follow that through. Okay. And that's basically it for gold. Now, if the market comes down into here, we can still, the market may turn around. So you're going to have to make sure you got your hours in place. If the market comes down and starts to go up, because it's Wednesday today, and Wednesday for gold is a swing day, right? So looking for a low for us is also okay. And these are the lows that we can be looking out for. Now on the weekly, you can see we've got that 58, which is 3,196. We still have to keep that on the radar. 3,196. I'm still going to keep it on the radar. All right. If it gets there, obviously we're buyers to the we're buyers on that, and that's that 3,196, and 3,250 is just there, and this 3,242 is going to be just here, 3,242, somewhere there. All right. So And this is a zone we can target, and then we can look into buying again, but we'll see how things pan out. So if the market goes up, selling is okay. As you can see, that was yesterday's. Today is at 56.57. 3,351 is still on the cards, and 3,344, 3,354. So if we go up, we should still sell, but I'm thinking this is good. Okay, where the 3,323 is also okay. So if the market does pop up here, okay, this is a sell zone for us. This is also a sell zone. Okay, you can just sell. If you're not sure, at the trading hours, guys, you can always just draw your lines. Just do exactly what we've learned in technical analysis. Okay, as you can see. Just do what we learnt, and that's it. You're cooking. All right, pretty much that's it there. All right, because that's the low, that's the bounce. You can see a low, high, and that's it. So the minute this starts to break down, if you want to move it down here, you can, because it's the latest, and that's still fine. That's also fine. All right, so this is a trading hour here, so anywhere around here we can sell. Now if you're not sure, if you're always like looking for a confirmation, because some people are tuned that way, if it breaks down, the goodbye kiss is okay to sell off. Okay, and that's basically it. The rest of the hours, as you know, we have to look out for today until 4 o'clock. Okay, because if the market does break, it'll go to 4, and this 4 o'clock is important. It shouldn't turn the market. 4 o'clock should not turn the market. Okay, I don't think it should turn the market. So if it keeps pushing, it should keep pushing until 9 o'clock. And if it turns, this is where it will turn. But if it doesn't turn, it'll hang around here somewhere. Maybe it'll bounce off and so on. It'll just be, around here. Okay. Now, for some assets, the turnaround can come in the evening. Okay, it includes gold as well. So we might see gold pushing all the way down and then chucking a UE later on, because Wednesday is a swing day, and that is, it's doable. All right, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's all good from what I think is possible to do. All right, so we'll keep those levels in mind, and on the daily, that's your target zone. So let's go into the weekly on the euro dollar. Let's go into the daily euro dollar. Now, as you know, with the euro dollar, we had a swing day on Monday, right? So I just say selling is okay if we keep pushing down, and we had to be careful here on Monday, remember, because of the breakout. But yesterday it did something nice and easy. It just broke down. So if we go up, we should sell off again. All right, it was the same thing here. The market just sold the highs, and that's basically it. Okay, so swing day worked out like magic, because it did come down, but it was a bit tricky. Okay, it was a bit tricky because of the PST breakout, and you know what I always say, when we have a PST breakout, I don't like to stand in front of it. Now this has got targets coming to the downside, which is exactly what I'd like to see. I'd like to see it come down even lower, okay, before June and July. Actually, we're nearly in June, but if I see a nice pullback, this is going to be then a great opportunity to go long. All right, if any of you are planning on trading prop firms, June, July might be a good idea for good moves, and then afterwards we'll get into reversals. Now, targets to the downside, 51, 50, 47, so mark them in. 1255, 1215, 1281. All right, so I can pull these down now. 1255. All right, 1255, 12.15 is down here. Okay, so you got room to come down, no big deal, and you can just follow that through as well. On the weekly, we can pull down into here, which is 57. So if you're trading the euro dollar, 11.52. All right, so that's 11.52. It's a bit fair way down there. All right, now this one doesn't have a swing day until you know when, so you can just keep pushing that through. Okay, just keep pushing it through, and maybe we'll come all the way down there, which will be good. And that's an HCL1 1032. But before that, we've got this. This is going to be a level. Okay, on the monthly, as you can see, we can like push down a little bit. Let's take a look at SP500. SP500 today is a swing day. All right, I talked about this level, remember, yesterday. So it is spot on. Okay, and Wednesday, I did say you can wait till Wednesday. You don't need to rush it, and it's still Wednesday. Selling here, I think, is a good way to go. Tuesday, I'm thinking, yeah, Tuesday, the market is at an adjustment level. Can we sell here? Yeah, we can actually. Shall we do that? Let's do that, because it's a swing day. It is exactly where we want it to be at the trading hour. So I'm just going to do this. Let's do, because it's a mini contract, let's do 10. Can we do 10? Okay, well, let's do 5. So I'm going to sell here. Okay, so let's sell. New order on the 5. Sell. Okay, so then I am going to put the stop losses as well there. Oops. Okay, because that's the high of the day, so we want it just slightly above that high. And then I want to cover the trade. I'd like to see it at least down here, just above the daily pivot. It should hit the daily pivot, okay? But if I want to cover the trade, I can cover it here. Okay, this is more than coverage. Now look, this is, let's see, 56 bucks. This is, because we're expecting the market to swing down, we can actually push it all the way down here and get more. So that's going to be like 1, 2, 1.5, okay? And then I'll have to put the stop loss of 5,930 on this one. 5,930. And then we want to see it come all the way into 5,875, do we? Or let's see what we can target. We can target all the way there. HLL, what's 5,768? Let's see what's on the weekly. 51, 5,747. Okay, fair enough. 5,747. And then we've got the weekly pivot. I just want to do one more check. Well, look, this is what we can do. We can put it all the way into 5,750. Well, we're going to manage it with time anyway. Okay, 5,750. All right, now I'm going to put that there, but you got to be mindful of the weekly. Okay, so we can just keep it with that. Let's put this aside. All right, that way, even if I have this there, okay, you can see it's going to be like, let's see, this is like 1, 2, pretty much 7, 8. All right, risk return. Okay, and if I was to put it there just above the weekly, that's also fine, because that's 400. Okay, so that's like 1, 2, 8 already. Okay, why? Because that's 60, isn't it? Somewhere around there. Yeah, let's call that 60 risk, and I'm taking 400. Okay, so that's fair enough. Okay, that's good. And this one is 1 to 1.5. So we've got a good risk return ratio here. And if I want to take it all the way into 5,750, it's not a bad idea. We can still do that. 5,750 there. All right. Now, you have to be careful, like I said, at those hours, because I am expecting some volatility as we get into the morning session in New York. All right. So I don't want to keep the stop losses up too far out. Why? Because if I'm correct, we should be going down. Okay. And if I'm not correct, then obviously we don't want to be in there. All right, so actually we could take the stop loss slightly higher as well, since that's 5,930. Just there, let me see what the closing was. The closing was 5,934. Okay, in the meantime, I'll keep it here. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we can extend that into 5,900 and maybe 40 or whatever, just in case they want to stop sweep, but not more than that. Okay, because if I am correct, we should be going down, and there's no need to be in the market if we are wrong. Dow Jones. So let's take a look at Dow Jones together. Now with the Dow Jones, we also have a Wednesday swing day, don't we? So having a Wednesday swing day, as you can see, let's see. Same thing. Remember, I put that in there as well. It's like the gap. We're just filling in a gap. So if the market goes in our favor, we should kind of like go up and then sell off, right? Just in case we're wrong, we can put a tight stop loss. Okay. Now the market should come at least down into this zone. Okay. And then break down. Okay, so we should break it down actually. Okay, also in the US session, if you're in the US session, be mindful for volatility as we get towards, after the morning session. I'd say it's going to be like once the morning starts, get ready for volatility, because until it's going to be there's going to be volatility. All right, so towards 5 o'clock, especially towards the evening, all right, my evening, 7:15, it's going to be volatile. All right, so be mindful. But if it goes in our direction, it should flow nicely, so you don't have to, rush the trade. Obviously, money manage your trade, and that's how it is. So if you want to sell it off, you can do it here. You can do it if there's a stop sweep, and then going back down. Where to? Obviously, mark the daily and the weekly pivots here. Okay, we already bounced off the weekly pivot yesterday, but this should, if it's going to turn, it should come back down. Okay, so on the daily, you can mark that in 47. 41,272. That's obviously doesn't have to be done today, but it's on the radar, and I think if you're going to trade it, you should keep it on, because this is a logical place for the market to come down into. Okay. On the weekly as well, we've got the blue lines there, which is 46, which is 40,895, 40,971. So 40,895 is all the way there. All right. So if it goes in our direction, those are what we should be targeting. Obviously, like I say, always manage at the daily, the weekly, and so on. Okay. NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ, we had Tuesday, right? So today's Tuesday. Okay. And that's Tuesday. So we're going to take it as that. Okay, so Tuesday, and this is what we want to do as well. So the market, although it looks like it's trending upwards, right? Because the swing day and we're at the top, we're looking to push down. Also, this can push down all the way back into the high of that, which is 21,248. So 21,248 is this is a place where you're going to have to be careful. Okay, 21,250, let's say, right? So if you're going to sell, be mindful and be careful here, and so on. You don't need to keep stops too far out, I don't think. And that daily is 55, which is 2877, which is 2877 is around there. Okay, so it's got room to come down if it does come down, and if we are correct. Okay, it's a sell zone. Gaps closed on the weekly. On the daily, there's still a bit of gapping, as you can see there. Okay, but you know, we're going to have to see how things pan out. It's a swing day, so I want to push it down from yesterday. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is there. Okay, so here we are with Bitcoin. I did say we don't have a swing day yet, so if you want to wait for it, you can. Okay, but you know, you can see it sizzling down, so it looks like that level might break, which is good. 107.806. So if 107.806 does break, alright, so it's this zone here, right, we'll probably head down. If you want to sell it, you can wait for the swing day if you like, or you're going to have to do the highs. Yeah, you're going to have to do the highs when you're going to have to do it, you know, and that's basically it. You can see we're like breaking down here, and it should break this low as well. Okay, it should like dip down, all right, and we might see it coming down for a few months, like for a month or two, and then it'll have a good opportunity to buy again. Okay, and if you're going to follow it down, these are your target zones, so just make a note of it. Okay, and that's your breakage. If it breaks down, 41 is 102, and that 102.500 is already down in this zone, right? So there's room to come down. Okay, if you're going to sell it on the upbeat, then you're going to look for levels. Let's see, on the daily, that's a bit far out, but yeah, it is a bit far out. On the weekly, that's 116,000 there, and that is a bit far out as well, but you can mark it in if you want. 116,000, okay, which is that HCL1 line. If the market goes there until Thursday, you can sell it off there as well. Okay, if not, then at trading hours, anywhere from the highs where the market sold off, like from here, I think you can sell off. And that's about it. Any questions, dramas, feel free to let me know.